you have 10,000 people at an event and all these conferences and yada, yada, all that stuff. And I think one of the most interesting discoveries that's happened from this COVID is as soon as you go into sort of a virtual sense of doing speaking and things like that, all of a sudden your audience goes from a confined geographical area to literally the entire globe. And so that's been one of the most interesting things that I've sort of noticed. And I believe as things continue and with COVID, they cool down or, whatever ends up happening with all of that, I think it'll turn into a place where there's more virtual events with speaking. And there's also live ones, but then there's also hybrid ones, right? Where you're doing them live, but there can also be people that tune in virtually. And I just think there's a huge shift that's going to happen where more people are going to be impacted because all of a sudden, just like you're saying, there's not really lines anymore on confining people by what location you're in or where you are, if you can fly somewhere, if you can afford a ticket, if you can, all these things. It's like, well, now you don't really have any excuse for not becoming a better human other than, you could put excuses there, but you can't say, oh, I can't travel or I can't afford a plane ticket or, whatever. It's like, well, if you can do it from your home and it's cheaper and, if you really want to change your life bad enough, you'll find a way. I just think there's such an incredible impact that'll grow over the next couple of years with everything that COVID has kind of brought to the surface.
Yeah. What part? I mean, I see that you do, bigger events, smaller events. You're what you're doing is kind of, all the way around. You're doing major conferences, 20, 30,000 people. You're conducting small trainings, teachings, coaching stuff. Like, what do you enjoy the most it's hard for me to say what do I enjoy the most too, because I love some of the training sometimes, but I also like, working with students in our schools. What do you enjoy the most?
That's a good question. What do I enjoy most?
Or do you like the business aspect? Because obviously you're running your own thing too.
Yeah, I the business aspect. I love the business aspect. Like I just enjoy business. I like building something, creating an impact, all of that. So it's kind of like all encompassing. But I would say like first, the thing that I probably love most, and this is a little bit broad, but is just like helping people, and like really like they say a breakthrough is when you have something and when you realize something that's impossible is possible and you like have that shift in your belief system. And I just think, whether it's helping someone have a breakthrough or whether it's helping someone shift the way they think, just like helping someone create the life that they actually want. And maybe things in their past have stopped them from believing it's possible or whatever's happened, like something happened in their life to kind of get them off the tracks to not realizing that they could do something that they once wanted, and to be able to take them to that place and show them that like, hey, there truly, truly is a promised land and you can truly create whatever life you want. And then seeing the result from that, right? So the end result from that, that's hands down my favorite thing that I do.
I love that. I'd love for you to give one last piece of advice, like to start today. Somebody who's like, I want to get going, but I don't know how to. What do I do? Is it the crappy plan to start with? What's your thought?
Yeah. So I would say, and this is for, in a sense, like entrepreneur. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I guess entrepreneur, anyone, right? But I would say if you have some sort of a plan that you want to execute on, obviously the first step is what's that crappy plan? So I would say the first thing is figuring out what that crappy plan is. Now, if you don't have enough like fuel, meaning like enough, like if you're not hungry, like Tony said, the best quality you can have as a human is hunger, right? Just like being hungry. And so if you don't have the hunger, I would say take time, whether it's 10, 15-minute exercise, and just write down, like, what do you really want in your life? And ask yourself, what do you really want? And then ask yourself again, what do you really want? Like, what do you really want in your life? And you'll write some things down and then you'll go, well, what do I really want in my life? And you just kind of go down this deep hole of figuring out, like, what do you actually want in your life? Like, what do you really want? And as you start to figure that out, that will build the internal fuel for you to act on whatever it is you want to create. And then that's sort of what jumps you into the crappy plan. And again, not that it's a crappy plan, but it's going to make it easier for you to act on it because now you're not fighting this perfectionism thing. I would say those are the two biggest things. And if you want to like make sure you absolutely do it, find someone that you respect and tell them your plan so that they can hold you accountable. Because sometimes it's easy to let ourselves down, but if you have someone else that you respect and you tell them, hey, I'm going to do this, it may be harder for you to tell them, so you may actually do it, right? So I would say that's like a third kind of extra one if you need a little extra push.
I love the third one because every time I said I would fight, I fought, and I said I'm going to win. So I trained properly, so I didn't want to lose, and I never lost. So it's great. Stu, thank you for your time today, bro. Where can people go to find you?
Yeah, I would say the best place is just on Instagram. My Instagram is just Stu Massengill. It's Massengill. First name Stu, Stu. And that's honestly probably the best place. I also have a podcast myself called Finding Direction, and that's about helping people figure out what they want to do with their life. So, I would say either of those. And, if you have any questions or anything that I can support you on, just, shoot me a DM. I'll respond and happy to support in any way that I can.
Stu, thank you so much. You guys, every week, Significance Breeds Success on Tuesday, right down below, there will be a few links to connect you to Stu if you want to pick his brain. I appreciate you on, brother. Huge blessing. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for, really looking at, how you overcame what you wanted to overcome to become the man you are today. So thank you for everything, and enjoy your week.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. It was an honor to be on the podcast.
You got it. You guys, Significance Breeds Success every Tuesday. Check us out. Think about how you can find somebody this week to keep you accountable in your life. See ya.